I made a comment yesterday in passing and joking. I was talking about, in fact, here's the article right here. This article that was on Democratic Underground titled, "It's Not the Morphine, It's the Size of the Cage. Rat Park Experiments Upturns Conventional Wisdom." And there's a clothing ad on there, because I have bought clothing on the internet. And there's an ad for Decon rat killers, because I'm assuming because the article was about rats, so they figured I had an interest in rats. And I made the joke, boy, it's, because you can kind of pretty much these days walk over and look over anybody's shoulder at their computer and know what they're browsing by simply looking at the ads on the New York Times or on Democratic Underground or whatever, because they're the ads reflect your cookie browsing. And I made the joke, I said, boy, it's a good thing I haven't been browsing porn on the internet. This is a front page story in today's Financial Times. And I find this troubling and interesting. And I think that the thing that's most interesting about it, and that's probably actually the least troubling about it, is that a lot of people will say, oh, I got nothing to hide. I don't care if they, I kind of like the fact that when I go to Amazon.com, they know that I like fountain pens instead of ballpoint pens, so they show me ads for fountain pens or whatever it may be. By the way, I actually prefer those little skinny felt tip ones, but whatever. You get my point. Some people like the fact that they're being tracked and that they're constantly seeing ads for the kinds of things that they might want to buy, and that when they go to shopping sites, they get the recommended go to the vitamin website that you normally buy your vitamins from, and sure enough, there's your vitamin C or your CoQ10 or whatever it may be. But here's the headline: visits to porn sites tracked by hundreds of companies. Hundreds of companies. Now, I can understand where a porn company, and keep in mind, about a third of all the traffic on the internet, I've seen statistics as low as 10%, as high as 50%. But I think the most reliable numbers are somewhere between 20 and 30% of all the traffic on the internet is porn. People watching porn. Or downloading porn. Or I guess for some people, uploading porn. Okay. So you can see where the companies who are involved in this might want to keep track of it. But this is a whole different thing. Emily Steele wrote this in New York City for the Financial Times. Nearly 900 million internet users. Now, there's probably only about 200 million internet users in the United States. So this is worldwide. Nearly 900 million, almost a billion internet users were tracked by hundreds of third-party internet and advertising companies when they visited pornographic sites this summer, according to Ghostery, a company that monitors online tracking. The tracking details can include information about the URL of the site, how long a person stays on the site, and how many clicks they make there. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. You would think that, sexyvideos.com or whatever, just to make up it probably exists. If you could think of it, it probably exists. But whatever. You'd think that some, porn site would want to know if you were somebody who liked to watch porn. But your credit card company might deny you a credit card because you watch porn. Listen to this. Privacy advocates fear the details about visits to adult-oriented sites could be incorporated into the vast dossiers of that internet advertising and data companies create about individuals and are used to tailor ads and content other people see, among other purposes. Porn sites are estimated to make up at least 15% of the internet. A credit card company, for instance, could choose not to target ads to a person who frequently visits porn sites, judging them to be a higher-risk customer. A gambling operation, meanwhile, could target ads to people who spend more hours visiting adult sites, considering them to have more addictive tendencies. While some companies said that browsing behavior from adult-oriented sites is not used to determine what ads people see, several internet and advertising companies' privacy policies do not explicitly bar the practice. Now, where it gets really interesting to me is it says pornography dominates the web. About a quarter of online searches, 68 million a day, are for porn. Those sites increasingly are relying on advertising to make money. 85% are advertising supported. It's fascinating stuff. But this, the news comes after regulations. The U.S. National Security Agency tracked the visits to porn sites of 6 Muslims so that information that they had visited porn sites could be used to harm their reputations. According to a document provided to the Huffington Post by Edward Snowden, the NSA whistleblower. So, I guess the good news here is that a lot of the people who make policy tend to be white men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, who I'm guessing, especially Republicans, and I'm saying that not facetiously, we know that the state of Utah, on a per capita basis, more porn is sold in the state of Utah than any other state. I remember that from a year ago. There was a study that came out on that. And it was old white guys. Old Mormon white guys, mostly. So could it be that those guys are going to start going, oh, wait a minute. Maybe there is something to this internet privacy thing. Maybe we should put some limits on, what these companies are tracking and how they're watching everything we do. And maybe Ed Snowden is right. And because of porn, it's because of porn that so much good video is happening on the internet. Porn sites develop a lot of the technology. Because of porn, we might get some internet privacy.